There's a specific day you know well. The paycheck hit, you exhaled, you checked the balance, ran the numbers in your head and thought, this time it's going to be different. This time I'll control it. And then, 18 days later, you open the app and stare at a number that doesn't make sense. You worked, you paid everything, you didn't buy a car, didn't take a trip, didn't do anything out of the ordinary, and the money is gone. This isn't carelessness, it isn't a lack of budgeting apps, and it definitely isn't because you don't earn enough. It's a pattern, one that's working exactly as it should, just against you. There's a psychological mechanism that operates in the shadows of your financial decisions. It has no popular name, it doesn't appear in money-saving advice, and that's exactly why it survives. I call it compensatory spending. And before you think this is obvious, I need you to understand the depth of what we're talking about. Because this isn't about spending too much. It's about what the spending is trying to do instead of something else. Marcus is 37, a government project manager in Atlanta in the same department for 9 years. In by 8, out by 5 with the consistency of a bus schedule. The salary isn't bad. It never was. But it never had anything left over either. He has 2 kids, a wife who works part-time, and a mortgage that still has 11 years on it. On Thursdays after work, he stops at Target on the way home. Not because he needs anything, out of habit. He walks in thinking about paper towels and walks out with a bag of things he didn't know he wanted until he saw them. Friday, he orders food delivery. Saturday, the family does the mall. Sunday morning, he buys the good coffee, a magazine he won't read, and a streaming subscription he almost cancelled. Each purchase on its own seems reasonable. Together, they drain like a bathtub with the plug out. What's happening to Marcus isn't financial irresponsibility. It's low-cost emotional medicine. Let me explain the mechanism precisely, because the details are where it lives. When you work inside a structure that gives you no real room to choose, fixed hierarchy, immovable schedule, tasks that repeat like a scratched record, your nervous system accumulates what behavioral psychologists call autonomy depletion. It's the exhaustion of feeling like you decide something, like something depends on you, like you have power over what happens. And what does the brain do when it needs to recover that feeling? It looks for the smallest available decision point, which is exactly consumption. You can't choose the project you'll work on tomorrow, can't choose your manager, can't choose the speed of the bureaucracy, but you can choose the ice cream flavor, the new jacket, the weekend whiskey, the shoes in the window. Every small purchase is an act of recovered sovereignty. The problem is, it lasts 18 minutes. Daniel Kahneman, Nobel laureate in economics, spent decades studying how the mind makes decisions. One of the most disturbing conclusions of his work is that most of our financial decisions aren't rational choices. They're emotional responses dressed up as decisions. We don't buy what we need. We buy what our emotional state requests. And the emotional state of a man who spends 8 hours a day being managed by someone else in a function he didn't design requests constant compensation. The big trap is that compensatory spending doesn't feel like a problem. It feels earned. You worked, you showed up, you handled the difficult manager, the pointless meeting, the co-worker who takes credit for your work. You deserve it. That thought, the I deserve this, is the most efficient trigger that exists for unplanned spending. And it's technically true. You worked, you deserve something. The problem is that what you're buying isn't what you actually want. You want recognition, you want autonomy, you want the feeling that your effort is building something. And a dinner out delivers none of that. It only simulates it for 2 hours. Marcus doesn't know this. That's why he goes back to Target every Thursday. But there's something deeper here that needs to be named, because compensatory spending doesn't operate alone. It has an accomplice. The fixed salary creates what I call a psychological ceiling of possibilities. When you know exactly how much is coming in on the first of every month, your brain stops calculating possibilities and starts calculating distribution. You stop thinking about how to multiply. You start thinking about how to divide. And when all your mental energy goes into distribution, the leftover keeps shrinking, because compensatory spending fills the space that should be for building. This creates a silent cycle. Work, drain, spend, recover, work, drain, spend, recover, month after month, year after year. And the salary never makes a difference because the cycle is stronger than the number. You're not trapped by a lack of money. You're trapped by the pattern that money can't break. The shift starts when you stop treating the spending as the problem and start treating what the spending is trying to solve as the real problem, which is the lack of autonomy, the feeling that nothing you do during the day actually belongs to you, that you are more tool than craftsman. There's a concept Martin Seligman developed in the 70s in a series of experiments that became foundational in behavioral psychology. He called it learned helplessness. What the experiment showed is that when an organism, human or animal, spends enough time in a situation where their actions produce no different outcomes, they stop acting, not from weakness, from adaptation. The brain learns that attempting is useless and conserves energy by stopping. That's what happens to the man who's been in the same role for 9 years, same function, same salary, adjusted for inflation. It isn't lack of ambition. It's learned financial helplessness. And compensatory spending is the pressure valve that makes that state bearable, which is, ironically, what prevents it from changing. Because while it hurts enough for you to notice, but not enough to force a change, you stay, and the money keeps disappearing. Before we continue, I need to show you something I built after understanding exactly what we're talking about here. It's called the Free Your Mind Kit, 3 tools that work together. The ebook has 35 pages of real financial psychological diagnosis. It's not a savings tip. It's a map of the invisible patterns that trap men with stable salaries. The Cost of Stability Calculator is an interactive tool. You enter your numbers and it shows you the real cost of not acting, in wealth, in time, in deferred freedom. And the Free Your Mind series is 3 audio tracks of 7 to 12 minutes, made to listen to when you wake up or before you sleep, working on identity, value, and action where knowledge alone can't reach. The 3 complement each other. The ebook creates intellectual awareness. The calculator creates emotional awareness. The audios work on identity. It's not a course. No subscription. Lifetime access. Everything for $9. The link is in the description. When you're ready. Back to what we were saying. You're probably thinking, but I don't spend that much. My situation is different. Or I have a savings account. Or I'm close to my pension milestone. I'll deal with this after. All of those are true. None of them answer the question that matters. What are you building beyond the stability you already have? Because stability isn't construction. Stability is maintenance. And there's a brutal difference between the man who uses the security of his job as a foundation to build and the man who uses it as a substitute for building. The first one accumulates. The second spends and calls it living well. The real cost of compensatory spending isn't the money spent. It's the money that was never invested, the second income stream that was never developed, the project that stayed in the draft because the paycheck always arrived in time to make the urgency survivable. You don't need much to start something different, but you need something that compensatory spending steals before you notice, the discomfort necessary to change. Because when you relieve discomfort with a purchase, you steal your own motivation to resolve it. Marcus turned 40 last year. His kids are in middle school now. The mortgage has 6 years left, and he noticed something he couldn't name before. He's good at his job, good at home, good at everything asked of him, and he has nothing that is only his, No project, no bet, no construction. The paycheck came for 9 years and not a dollar built anything beyond what already existed. He wasn't irresponsible. He was exactly what the system asks you to be, a good administrator of what's already been decided. The day Marcus stopped going to Target every Thursday wasn't the day he cut spending. It was the day he understood. He was buying things to avoid feeling the emptiness of a Sunday without purpose. And the question changed. It was no longer, why am I spending? It became, what am I avoiding feeling? That question is uncomfortable, and that discomfort is exactly the starting point. When you stop spending to relieve, you start feeling what needs to be felt. The boredom of a Sunday with no purpose, the anxiety of work that leaves no legacy, the restlessness of someone who knows they could do more but never tested it. Those feelings aren't enemies, they're signals, and you won't hear them while you keep muffling them with purchases. The change doesn't start with a budget. It starts with the question Marcus took 9 years to allow himself to ask. What do I want to build that doesn't depend on the paycheck to exist? It's not about quitting your job. It's not about becoming a forced entrepreneur. It's about having something that's yours, a second income stream, even a small one, a creative project, a developed skill, anything that puts you in the role of builder, not just bill payer. Because when you have something building on the horizon, compensatory spending loses its grip. You don't need Thursday's Target run anymore because Sunday has a project. You don't need the new jacket anymore because the autonomy you were trying to buy started existing for real. Money doesn't disappear less because you cut spending. It disappears less because you redirect the sovereignty impulse towards something that grows. Marcus understood this late. You don't have to wait 9 years to ask yourself the same question. What's taking your money isn't carelessness. It's a legitimate need to feel whole, that you're satisfying in the wrong place. Your job doesn't give you autonomy, it gives you security. Autonomy you have to build outside of it. And the first step isn't cutting anything. It's noticing what each purchase is trying to solve. Every time you open the cart on impulse, pause 3 seconds and ask, am I buying this because I need it? Or because I need to feel like I'm deciding something? The answer will appear, and with it, the clarity about where your money should actually go. If what you heard here made sense, the Free Your Mind kit goes deeper. The link is in the description. Marcus still works in the same department. The check still comes in on the 1st, but Thursday Target runs have a list now, and what's not on the list doesn't go in the cart. Not from discipline, but because the space the Target run was filling has something else in it. Subscribe to Mind of Value, not for tips, for a different way of thinking. The money will still move. Now you'll know exactly where it went.